Alright, today we're going to build an unconventional trigger reset team. Now, we've had a few of these in the recent past, and I guess for a long time most trigger resets involve blobfish. You could also do it with Pug as well, I suppose, and maybe a couple of others that I'm forgetting. Pug and blobfish have been around since 2022, I think. But there are some recent changes to the game that open the door for a variety of other trigger reset builds, albeit much weaker ones. But that's not going to deter us, so we're going to build a team today using Cockroach for a trigger reset. Now, how does that work? Well, Cockroach has kind of a split ability. So there are a bunch of pets that have two parts to their ability. Another obvious one that you see all the time would be Brain Cramp. So Cockroach summons the token Roach, but then it also gives that token experience. Now, when a pet is silly, if it has a split ability like that, both parts of the ability can have different targets. So what we're going to do here is take advantage of that and allow the Cockroach to give the experience to any other unit in the battle. Hopefully it's going to be our unit, but sometimes it will be the opponent's unit. And we just need to make sure that we have pets on our team that have triggers exhausted that can then be replenished by that level up. Quick stat swap onto the Cockroach, since it is a 1-1 to start with. That is pretty rough. And Babirusa is always a good one for the frog swap. We get the silly immediately, which is perfect. Some games were kind of ruined by the fact that I wasn't able to find the silly early enough. But it works out perfectly here. And then I think I'm going to save the level up here for turn. Okay, maybe not. I thought we were going to save it, but we didn't. And we get Platypus, so I'm actually just going to sell the Stoat and bring that in. And then I'm not buying the silly yet because I don't want to start giving the opponent experience until it's absolutely necessary. And there definitely were some runs that were tanked because I was leveling their units up in the early turns before I even had anything worth leveling up myself. Now in this instance, it actually would be quite nice to level up the Clownfish or the Platypus, but for whatever reason I didn't do it in this run. I guess we're looking for something else first here. Okay, we're going to take the Clownfish level up eventually. And then, yeah, now we can actually take the silly because the perk can be replaced in battle by the Terrapin. And of course, White Ochre is definitely going to help us get some wins on the board before we kind of fully pivot into the reset team. And we actually get the Platypus as well, so we might as well take that level up instead. And then hopefully we'll get the unit we need. Okay, we don't. We do get Blobfish, but that's not really necessary for the team either. Kind of unusual to see Fruit Fly at the front of a squad here. But yeah, White Ochre just getting the job done. Nice to preserve hearts because the end game of this is going to be pretty heavily dependent on RNG. We need the silly trigger to hit our own pets for it to actually work. So Eagle is going to come into the team. Because it's such a weak setup, definitely makes sense to take some of the stronger late game summon units. And okay, look, maybe I'm going to go for the Blobfish level here. I probably should have just bought the chocolate there onto the Blobfish because we could have had double level up in battle, giving us a better chance of winning this turn. But actually, as it is, we're going to win anyway because the Eagle summoned a boar. Okay, we get the Blobfish level up naturally. Still looking for a pet to reset. Don't worry, we are going to find it soon, and there it is. So Amalgamation. One of the best pets to use for a trigger reset. It's obviously a strong ability, and it works perfectly with these summoning units. So This is actually a pretty funny round here where we face triple level 2 Crocodile on turn 10. I'm pretty sure I went and spectated that round to see what actually happened, but it was just lots of gold and getting all the level ups. So we've got the setup now. The amalgamation has used one of its triggers already, and potentially the cockroach should be able to reset its triggers before the cooked roach actually gets summoned. And actually here we've got it set up so that Sea Serpent was in the pack. And actually there you did get to see the combo work, but it was in a round where we were going to win anyway, so it didn't really feel quite as impressive as it could have done. So 9 wins, we've got the 4 squad, and we actually get matched with the opposing 4 squad. I'm sure it's just a complete coincidence. And we get the reset again, so very lucky there. And then the snipe takes care of the melon. We actually get Rockhopper in the second slot, so even if we hadn't wiped their team, we still had a lot in the tank. Silly cockroach reset team there. So then I was actually sent this clip by Winja. Thank you very much, Winja. It's always funny when people send you clips of your team as the opposing team in their run. And you can see here that the reset actually works. The cockroach gets summoned on the other side, but the EXP still goes to the amalgamation. Unfortunately, we end up losing. I think we could have tied there, potentially, depending on the random hits. Still fun to see, though. And then here's an alternate version where I was playing with Anubis, and that means that you can actually have the EXP from the cockroach twice. Once at start of battle, and then again when it faints. And this time it actually reset the amalgamation, so it worked out perfectly. And then after a bunch of failed attempts, I started playing with double amalgamation because it obviously gives you more chance that one of them is going to get hit by the random chocolate. And of course I've selected these clips because they're better than all the other ones that failed miserably. This time we didn't actually hit the amalgamation, we did hit the kappa, which... yeah, that's another thing you can do is you can fill your team with a bunch of units that are going to benefit from the reset. And then hope that you face opponents like this where they don't really have anything that benefits from the trigger reset at all because it's all scaling pets. And the deer is already on level 3. But actually I think the breakpoints here are pretty nasty. Yeah, we could have ended up winning this one, but unfortunately the snipes didn't pan out. And this is a great round. Another 4 squad versus 4 squad on turn 12. It looks like it's an automatic loss because we're a summon team versus Rhino. It's only level 1 Rhino though, so it doesn't actually knock out the cockroach. And then the reset goes to the amalgamation. The kappa gets sniped by the Rhino, but the amalgamation is left standing. Super satisfying round. I'm pretty sure I sent that replay to Rev immediately afterwards. And then here's just a bunch of other rounds where the setup works. I'm pretty sure one of the amalgamations here is going to get reset. Yep, we actually get the summon on our side of the board as well. And then here's one with against Poker. I assume that's how you pronounce it. With the triple pied tamarin. Kind of an odd one. But nice to see people messing around. We do lose one of the amalgamations, but the reset still goes to the survivor. And yeah, 1-1 doggo not going to be good enough. Now here's another perfect type of opponent where they only have scaling really other than the Scorpion. And the 50-50 level 3 Fox is just going to get whittled down by some pretty chunky mana snipes. It's so satisfying when this works. It's just a real pain when you go like an entire game without the amalgamation getting reset. And then here's one against Eminem. Kind of a fun team here with the small one with Mushroom. The cockroach actually hangs on to get the knockout. We get the summon and the reset. But yeah, the woodpecker has just gained way too many stats in the back there. I've got at least one more unconventional trigger reset saved up, but I'm sure there are probably some others that we can come up with if we really put our minds to it.